Hi, I'm Rob Richards and I'm here in Southern California about to test some muscle against machine. Now, whilst many of you may know me for fitness, I actually grew up in England as a kid being passionate about cars. In fact, even before I picked up my first weight, I was in a car club behind the wheel of many different cars, getting to grips with the car and road. So you can see the excitement I had when a friend of mine in England who started working at carspring.co.uk, a new UK car company offering a hassle-free way to buy and lease new and used cars, asked if I'd like to review some of their cars. I thought, great, I get behind the wheel again and make some cool videos. Except there's one problem. About 5,500 miles between me and London. Now, the easy solution would be to pick any one of their hundreds of cars available, ranging from hot hatchbacks like Fiats and Minis, all the way up to the fast and luxurious like Jaguar and Land Rover. But with me being here in America, Americans tend to drive on the wrong side of the road. And with everything being automatic, this just wouldn't be a fair and accurate test. Also, it wouldn't be that much fun, which is why I've come here to the dry lakes at El Mirage Desert in Southern California to test one of their most popular cars, the BMW 328i, against me, a human, in a test that I think we all think about when we get behind the wheel of buying a new car. I'm not talking about how many cup holders or how loud the stereo can go. I'm talking about how fast the car can accelerate, how quickly can it stop, and how it can maneuver. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started on the first of our 3 tests. Right then, so this first test is all about speed and acceleration. But I'm not talking about how quickly this car can get up to its top speed. I'm talking about real life applications, using this in the real world. And for this, we need to measure some distances. So I'm gonna put the first cone here and then measure 100 meters, or for you Americans, that's about 328 feet. We're gonna test the acceleration of this car only up to a typical UK speed limit, which is about 30 miles an hour. So with traction control on, I'm gonna be in the car accelerating with no wheel spin on a dusty surface up to 30 miles an hour. I'm gonna keep going until I pass this second blue cone. Now what this test will show is, whilst the car can't accelerate from a standing start up to 30 miles an hour as quickly as I can accelerate up to my top speed, it's gonna be interesting to see how long it will take for the car to reach 30 and maintain that speed before passing the 100-meter point. Okay, and here we go. We're in automatic. This car has Tiptronic handles as well, but we're just going to keep it in automatic. We're going to accelerate up to 30 miles an hour until we pass that blue cone. Whew. All right, let's go. 3, 2, 1. And we're at 30. We're going to hold it here. And that's the cone passed. Now, I just heard from my director that that time was little over 10 seconds, which doesn't give me too much hope considering the Olympics, they can run that in under 10 seconds. So hopefully I'll make up some time in test number 2. For this, I need a second cone. With this test being all about braking, I'm gonna perform the same test as I did in number 1, accelerate up to 30 miles an hour with traction control on, and once I reach that second blue cone, come to a complete halt. Now, with it being a slippery surface, ABS is surely going to kick in, anti-braking system, which is going to slow the car down safely. Once I'm at a complete halt, I will place the white cone down, and that is going to be my marker based on time to beat when I'm sprinting and come into a complete stop when I'm running. Let's see how this one goes. Place this at the front. Now, looking at our blue marker there, that's a lot shorter than I thought the car would actually take to come to a stop. Put that with some data and measure that with our ruler stick. 46 feet. That's an extra 46 feet and definitely under 2 seconds to come to a complete halt from 30 miles an hour. Now what this test will highlight when I sprint it is how quickly I can come to a stop after reaching this blue marker and the total time it takes for me to start and finish my 100-meter dash. And judging by that distance, I think the car might have me beat on that one. Anyway, let's move on to test number 3. And for this, we need some more cones to test our car's maneuverability. Let's get to it. Now, so far, this BMW has performed really well in our first 2 tests, acceleration and speed. But I think where it's really going to come into a world of its own is within the 3rd test, maneuverability. Now, BMWs are known as being the ultimate driving machine. It's not hard to see when they've got near perfect weight distribution, which in the real world means it's easy, safe and efficient to be able to move out of harm's way and still be in control of your car. And to show this, I'm going to use the same setup as our first 2 tests, but place a cone every 30 feet. Gives us about 10 cones and perform test number 3 with a slalom. Now something tells me that if this were any other car, we wouldn't be able to keep that same speed up. But with that 328i and that near perfect weight distribution, we might be able to keep that same 30 mile an hour up, still with traction control on and still braking once we hit that 10th marker. It's going to make it all the more challenging when I have to do the sprint myself after this one. Let's find out. Here we go, test number 3. We've got everything the same, traction control on, automatic mode, and eco mode. Let's go. A little bit of slide with that loose dust, but surprisingly, car finds its rhythm. The steering is on point, acceleration we're keeping steady. And we're done. And to a halt. Not bad. All right, now that I'm dressed, ready for this sprint, let's get on with test number 1 with the human instead of the car. So we know the car did this in about 10.22 seconds. I don't know if I'll beat that, but I'm sure as heck gonna give it my best shot. Let's get into position. In 3, 2, 1, go. That was harder than I thought. Okay, so here are the stats. The car did this 100-meter dash in 10.22 seconds. The director just told me I did this 100-meter dash in 13:38. So about 3 seconds slower than the car. With that being said, let's jump straight into test number 2. And for this one, we're testing the stopping distance and overall time from start to finish of that same 100-meter dash. So that's test number 2 done. And I think it's clear to say the car also won on that one. So the car wins because of time. The car definitely didn't take 3 seconds to come to a stop, and that's how much longer it took me to complete the end. So far the car 2, human 0. But I do want to highlight something. We're on this dry lake bed and it's basically just hardened sand. So both the car and me are struggling to get grip and proper traction. The only difference is the car has 4 wheels, 2 of which are powered at the back, and it's got a lot more gravity pushing down on it. So it gets better traction. Me, not so much. So I struggle to keep that traction as I run. Okay, with that being said, let's finish off on test number 3. And for this, I'm up against the car on the slalom challenge. Let's see how that turns out. Test number 3 finished. So the car finished the slalom in a time of 16:82. The human, or me, finished the slalom at a time of 14:12. That's basically 2.5 seconds faster for me. So I win test number 3. Now let me break this down as to why. The car, whilst it has much more power, 240 brake horsepower, also has a lot more weight to it. 3,500 pounds almost, compared to my 180 pounds. So it's got a lot more weight that it needs to move, and even though it's nimble, it's going to move that weight between the cones. Me, I'm a lot smaller and nimble, so I can dodge between them. But with that being said, I think the car is definitely a clear winner. It's got the power and it can keep doing it over and over again. And on that note, that wraps up the end of our Car Sprint challenge today for carspring.co.uk. So if you're on the market to get your first car or upgrade your current car, definitely check out carspring.co.uk. Okay, that wraps up today. I'm Rob Richards. Stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Drive safe and enjoy the road. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Yeah.